drone world is getting quite the shakeup, especially here in the United States, where a almost for sure gonna happen ban on all DJI drones is going into effect in December. Now there's one company though that I've had my eye on that has been making drones that look almost exactly like DJI drones, and it's these guys, Skyrover. This is the Skyrover S1. Now they have the X1 out also. The X1 is more their higher level drone, compares more with like the Mini 4 Pro. This S1 compares more with the Mini 3. So a budget level drone, can it hang with the standards that I have set in my mind over the last 10 years flying DJI drones? Skyrover set one over for me to test out, and that's what we're gonna do today. Is this the new best beginner drone out there?
Okay, the Skyrover S1. I've been flying this thing now for about a week, and from my very first flight, it has impressed me.
All right, maiden flight with the Skyrover S1. Here we go. Wow, I actually did not expect the shot out of this thing to be this good. I'm shooting at 4K 60 right now, but this looks shockingly good for a $350 drone.
Just looking at this thing on paper, $349. This thing shoots at 4K 60 frames a second, has a 1/2-inch Sony sensor in there, which is interesting because I think DJI uses Sony sensors, but I don't think that they say that they use Sony sensors. These guys are saying it. On there, we of course have a 3-axis gimbal and something that they're calling Skybridge transmission, which is 12 kilometers on here. Now, I didn't test it to the limit of 12 kilometers. I went far enough to where I was like, oh, I am like super far away from where I want to be.
This isn't by any means like an official range test, but I am very far away right now. I am like way down there at the other side. I can still see it where it's at, but it is far, and I'm having 0 transmission loss.
You're supposed to be able to see your drone at all times. I could definitely see the spot that it was at, but it was so far away, there was no way that I could actually see this. And it's white. It's a white drone in the sky. I'll be fair, that is a downside. Like, this thing disappears. When it goes up in the sky, it doesn't have to be very far away from you, and you're like, where is my drone? Then level 5 wind resistance on this thing, active track, spotlight, things that sound, again, very familiar from all of my other drones that I fly. Now it is $499. I think on Amazon it's on sale for $449 for the Fly More combo. Yes, they are using the same naming stuff as DJI. It's saying it's the Fly More combo. You get 3 batteries, you get the controller, the drone, the charger for the 3 batteries, and then this carry case, which is blue camo. I've never seen DJI do blue camo before, although everything else feels very familiar. And that even comes down to the app experience. Like the app experience, I don't know who made this Skyrover app, but whoever it was, I bet they used to work at DJI because it's identical.
The app here, the app is, again, shockingly familiar. If you didn't tell me, I would just be like, either this is DJI's software or they hired the same guys to make their software that DJI hired to make theirs. Because even like my battery indicators at the top, my RC, my satellite indicators, all my lettering at the bottom, like even the font, how it says Pro or Auto. If I go in here, if I stop this real quick, I switch modes. I've got quick shots in there, hyperlapses in there. These are all things that I have been using for a very long time. Even the menus, like going to the menus, this all looks incredibly familiar. I don't know what's going on. No one's saying it. No one from DJI, I've asked them, and now I've asked Skyrover, and no one's saying that they're the same company, but feels like it.
So first let's check on that level 5 wind resistance. I flew this thing out of the box, the very first flight, at the beach, over the Oceanside Pier in quite windy conditions. Wind is like a huge problem for budget drones because they just don't have enough power and size. This thing is sub 250 grams, so it's a small drone, and usually they don't have much power, so they kind of do this a lot, like they have to fight the wind. And in every shot that I had this thing on, like this was, again, a very familiar, super smooth, super stable shot, even in windy conditions. Now, the downside of that though, is that because it's a small drone, it is underpowered for wind conditions like that. So yes, it is level 5 wind resistance, but that takes a toll on the battery, which bums me out, but is very expected for a small drone like this. They are claiming 40 minutes out of each of these batteries. I flew all 3 multiple times at the beach and away from the beach. At the beach, when there's a ton of wind, I was kind of more seeing like 27, 28, 29 minutes. And then away from the beach, I was seeing anywhere like 32 to 34 minutes. Now, that's also how I fly. So anything that you're doing, like if I throw it to sport mode, because I'm like, oh, now I want to get back to the start point and run that shot again, I usually just go back to sport mode, I rip back over to the start point, and then I fly like a smooth cinema shot again. Every time I'm doing that, I am reducing the length of my battery. And then next up is kind of like more the software side of things. Active Track, Spotlight, all of that, again, very familiar.
All right, testing out the quick shots now. This is the Droney, and again, a very familiar Droney. Let's do circle. So now I'm on circle. I've selected myself. Now this is an important thing. It just said obstacle avoidance is unavailable because there is no side sensors on this thing at all and no rear sensor. So as it does a big circle around me, if there's a tree, it's just gonna blast into the tree. Like that's just what it's gonna do. Oh, you guys can cut through, don't worry about it. Yeah, no, just filming a YouTube video.
I wanna watch you on YouTube.
You guys are in a sick shot right now. There's like a sick, like, thing's like all by itself. It's just doing a big circle around us right now.
Sweet.
It's a dope shot.
Whoever designed DJI drones for sure either worked for this company or like they are going to the factory and they're getting, look, I don't know what the entanglement is. Neither company will tell me, but the software is like almost the exact same. Active Track works fantastic. Same thing, you draw a little green box around your subject, and then as your subject moves, the drone just chases you down. Spotlight is the same thing where the drone just kind of stays in one spot. You can use it like if it's a tripod. Select your subject, and then as your subject moves, the drone will just turn. And then if you're flying during Spotlight, if I'm like sliding sideways, but my subject goes over here, the drone will automatically turn to keep locked onto your subject. So all of that works, again, very familiar and totally as expected. Let's talk about some downsides real quick. The main downside that I can think of is this remote control. It's not that it's a bad remote control, it's just that it's the remote control without the screen. So you've got this whole like top bit that you pull up and you gotta do this thing where you get the USB-C cable out of there like that. And then I can put my phone in and then I can plug in my phone right here. Another bummer on here is that this cable right here, because of the shape of this cable, like how little extra room there is on that plug, it means that if my phone is in a case, it almost for sure will not seat with this cable. I have to take my phone out of my case every time that I want to plug it in. What I would love to see from Skyrover, obviously, is just for them to come out with a remote that has a screen on it, which wherever they got these parts to make these drones, I bet they could go there because those guys already make that remote control. I would love to see that. Skyrover, please. There's also not the little buttons down here that I'm used to. Like I use that to make it so that my camera goes from 0 degree level and it just looks straight down and then straight back up. I use that a lot. That's not there. I do have my normal control to tilt my gimbal. And then of course a start and stop record and take photo buttons. And then a feature that is both a pro and a con, it does have forward facing and downward facing infrared obstacle avoidance system. So if I'm flying forward, yes, it will stop. If I'm coming down and it sees something, it knows whether to land or whether to stop or abort landing if it sees something. So it does have that, but it does not have anything on the side. So no side protection and no rear protection, which means that if you are flying like one of those circle quick shots, or even just like you're flying and you're doing like a side slot, if you hit a tree, you hit a tree. Like there's nothing that is gonna stop you from just sliding into that tree, which again, it's a bummer. It's a feature, nice to have forward and lower. It's a bummer, it doesn't have 360, but it makes sense because this thing is only $350. So at the lower budget levels of drones, we usually don't see that 360 obstacle avoidance. when you jump to their X1, I think that the X1 does have 360 obstacle avoidance. But on here, just remember that, you know, if you're flying backwards, make sure you know where you're going. So all that to say is like, is this a good beginner drone? And I could say 100%, just like its competition on the DJI side. Yeah, this is a great drone especially for this price. For this price, you are getting way more drone that I think that you're paying for. So like you are getting the better part of the deal for this drone, as long as you remember that even though $449 sale on Amazon, even though $449 is a lot of money, for a drone that can do all this, it's amazing. Just remember, this is still a beginner drone. So it's going to struggle in super, super high winds. It's a small drone. It's not gonna be as powerful as bigger drones with bigger props and bigger motors. So it is a beginner style drone. We don't have anything like log footage in here. It's like 4K 30, 4K 60. It's a good image that comes out of it. Like when you watch the video, you're like, that's actually shockingly impressive for such a budget-friendly drone. But if you are looking for like cinematic footage and 360 obstacle avoidance, all of that, skip this S1, maybe go to the X1, or, you know, take your chances on a drone that might get banned next month. So thank you again, Skyrover, for sending this over. I have been so suspicious of this drone, and like, it looks so much like what I'm familiar with that I was like, is that just the same thing in different clothes? And I wish I could tell you that I knew the answer to that. It feels very familiar, is all I can say. No one will confirm it anywhere on either side of things, but it feels very familiar, and yes, I can confirm it's a pretty damn good drone for beginners. What do you think though? I want to hear your thoughts on this drone, on the X1, like on the whole Skyrover DJI thing, like on maybe the possibility of a ban. Leave all your comments down below. I'm excited to hear them. I'll see you soon.